in my head. You stole it! You stole it! You got Winona! You got it! Fire me! I'm already fired! Fire me! I'm already fired! He's hot! He's spicy! He tastes good! Batista, I hope you're watching, because if you mess with me, I'm going to beat you up, just like I'm going to beat up Ponzi over here.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your host, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome all over the world and here in southeastern Wisconsin to the Pro Wrestling Report. We are here from 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson along with the man they call Meathead and the Cos. Frank Cosentino. The boys are back in town. We're all back together. The band is back together. Thank you so much for joining us here live on Monday night, January the 19th, 2009. And remember, you can join us live by calling us in southeastern Wisconsin at 276-ESPN. Again, that's 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN all over the world, 1-800-990-ESPN. And you hear the music in the background, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who just moments ago made his return to WWE Raw after his 6-month absence. That little segment there is still going on, but anyways, this show will roll on, and we'll talk about the Raw that was tonight. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. We've got a full preview of the Royal Rumble along with our top 5 Rumble moments ever. We've got details on the 16 people released from WWE, a review of the movie The Wrestler, and an update on PWR Fantasy, our new fantasy league, which starts this weekend. Frank, welcome back here to the hallowed halls of 540 ESPN.
Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back with the crowd.
And Meathead running with our guest host, Scott Wisniewski, last week. I appreciate Scott coming on. Scott did a great job as well. Scott did, of course, did a great job.
Sometimes, here's the deal. Some people can do other things, but what they do best is what they do most often. I could fill in. I could be host. I could be producer. I could be president for a day. I could do any of that stuff. But I'm best at doing sidekick and buffoonery, if you will. So I'm back into my role.
We are streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRshow.com. Thank you so much for joining us again. The date, January 19, 2009. Let's talk about Raw tonight, and we'll start from the bottom, work our way up to the top here at the ending. A couple of interesting things. Firstly, it was a lot of Santino and Beth Phoenix tonight.
Yeah.
A couple of quotables, or 2 of them anyways. One from Santino Marella, who said, "Please, can we keep her?" in response to Rosa, who Beth does not seem to be a very big fan of, in a segment that they did earlier on. Apparently they are going to be aligning themselves with each other. The next quotable came from Randy Orton, who we see entering the ring right now to confront Vince and Stephanie McMahon.
How long is this extra Raw here? We're at the 10-minute mark.
Maybe it's a 3-hour Raw unadvertised. It's almost like WCW. Just going to throw an extra hour on there and expect people to watch.
We always know to set our DVRs to 10:15 all the time. By the way, Vince just said cockle.
Yeah, someone with the play-by-play can send it the transcript of the last 10 minutes of the show.
Jesus. Am I speaking Chinese?
Stephanie McMahon confronted by Randy Orton, who, after Stephanie blows up at him, Randy says, "I was being nice." Now, you got to really dissect that and look at the prick that he is. And for him to stand there and say, "I was being nice" to Stephanie McMahon was pretty fun to watch. Now, the big news of the night, obviously, is we've got a new Intercontinental Champion as CM Punk in his hometown of Chicago walks in and takes the strap from William Regal in what was a very good match.
It was.
More importantly, very good build to this night when he finally took the strap. If you don't remember, a couple of disqualifications. This thing's been going on for weeks. This was the night where there would be a champion determined, whether it be Regal walking out, retaining the gold, or CM Punk walking out, the new champion. And that is indeed what we saw. CM Punk, the new Intercontinental Champion in his hometown. Now, CM Punk, former World Heavyweight Champion, obviously. Former, I believe, ECW champion.
Yeah, and as Damien used about 150 words to say one thing, Punk wins. You'll like that, huh? Damien used 150
that was so
words
you monkeys
to say
can watch
Punk
the end
wins.
of Raw
no,
and then keep the show going and continue them here. It's all, you know, why you
The guy's
got to
off.
be pulling back the curtain?
The guy's off.
Leave
the guy
the curtain
is
up.
off for 1 week, and
Guys,
he's got all these extra
I
words
wasn't off.
left
I
over.
still had to call in.
You didn't have to call anything.
It's a new dawn tomorrow. We should be happy, and I want to see you guys hug.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can get together.
Anyways, the Punk win tonight in Chicago is a lot better than the way he was treated in Chicago at No Mercy, or as Frank says, No Mercy, in 2007 when Punk was destroyed by Big Daddy V in a 5-minute match.
Yeah, but, you know, now's the time to make this belt legitimate. I mean,
Wow, she is huge. I'm sorry. Huge.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Frank, you were saying?
We're trying to add
monstrous
legitimacy to the Intercontinental belt, which has basically lost its luster in the last 10 years or so. It used to be the belt that, you know, you get that, and then you knew that the heavyweight championship was the next step.
You were next in line. You were the number one contender if you were the Intercontinental champion.
And now you don't have that. Now they have the Money in the Banks and they have the Royal Rumbles, which they haven't taken away from it, but they just haven't added the Intercontinental belt where it should. So maybe now with Punk's win, crowd, obviously, you know, he's from the hometown. Maybe it'll add something to it. It's a perfect fit for him now. We'll see if they can keep it going, at least up until WrestleMania.
Another good moment from this evening was the first time I think we've seen since the Hall of Fame induction of Dusty Rhodes, the Brothers Rhodes in the same shot as Goldust was out there with his brother Cody Rhodes. The Goldust trying to offer Cody the DVD, the Starrcade DVD. Cody wanting no part of it, and it was just great because of what they didn't say, and a little bit of a hint that they both have the same father and that Goldust is Dustin Rhodes. But I thought it was fun, Frank.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it because here's Goldust, in quotes, obviously, trying to. When he's in character, you don't want him to be serious. You know, he looks stupid, basically trying to be serious in front of his brother. If they wanted to make it work, they should have taken him off character, not off character, at least not where he's dressed up as Goldust, and said, "Listen, here's me, here's your dad, yada yada." With him kind of standing there in his Goldust thing, it didn't fit. It looked weird.
No, Goldust, you got to keep Goldust in his Goldust gimmick. Otherwise, what's the point of bringing Goldust back out again?
Well, here's the thing. What's the point of him getting in that get-up every week if you only see him in backstage segments?
Right.
They should bring him in like once a month and record all that stuff and then just can it.
Well, actually, you know, it'd be kind of funny, too, if he could go back to doing what he... My favorite Goldust, now everybody loves, obviously, the uncomfortable Goldust that was pushing the envelope back in the mid-'90s to late 90s.
Razor Ramon?
My favorite Goldust is actually the stuttering Goldust. Cockle.
Yeah. Him and the Booker T stuff.
Yes.
That was good stuff.
That's the Goldust I like.
We saw the contract signing for the match, the main event at the Royal Rumble coming up this Sunday night between JBL and John Cena. A little bit of passionate discussion between John Cena and HBK Shawn Michaels, leading to a bit of a beatdown by JBL and HBK on John Cena in the ring. Frank, when we walked in, we were talking to actually Scott Wisniewski, who was still here in the studio, and he said, you know, that he is Shawn Michaels is soon becoming one of his favorite wrestlers. Now, you know, obviously, I will say that over the last few years, you've come to appreciate the career of Shawn Michaels a lot more. And I remember talking
Down goes McMahon.
When this first started, I remember talking that Shawn Michaels and JBL, where's this going? What's this going to mean? What's going to happen? Well, we're at a point now where this really has a lot of clout in the organization right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He just punted McMahon.
I believe Vince McMahon just got knocked the heck out.
Yep. No.
That looks like it was a one-week-only return for Vince McMahon.
That's right. Randy Orton now will
this was an ass-kicking is what it was.
Let's keep you informed here. Randy Orton gets a little, Stephanie McMahon, rather, gets a little upset by Randy Orton with some words that he had for her. Randy Orton lashes out after Vince McMahon asks him to apologize. Orton having nothing of that. Orton then attacks McMahon and kicks McMahon with that fatal head kick. McMahon laying near dead in the middle of the ring now.
Now you got Dean Malenko hanging over McMahon and looking for help.
This is the second time in a 6-month period, I think, that Vince McMahon has been seriously injured with a head injury.
Third time in the last 18-month period. He's been blown up in a car. He's had a stage drop in.
It could be the next running joke. Every time McMahon comes back, he's gone. But be that as it may, it looks like Raw for this evening. A pretty interesting McMahon return, as we were saying before. This was sort of falling off with a dud because what's he going to do? Come back? He aligned himself with Stephanie.
But also, this is what Vince McMahon is doing tonight, is setting up WrestleMania for himself.
We'll talk about that as we go over the Royal Rumble, which is actually next on our list as we see some replays live on Raw on the USA Network. But the Royal Rumble, it's this Sunday live on pay-per-view. We've got a series of marquee matches, obviously none as big as the actual Royal Rumble match itself.
Yeah.
30 participants have been named. Well, close to 30 participants have been named. We also found out tonight that it would not be every 2 minutes, it would not be every 60 seconds, but every 90 seconds, the happy medium, if you will, where new entrants would enter the ring. No gimmicky number 1s or 2s or 30s this year, but it should be an interesting Rumble nonetheless. Let's go over the matches one by one. In the opening matchup we'll talk about is for the Women's Championship as Beth Phoenix takes on Melina, again, for the WWE Women's title. Meathead, your thoughts?
You know what? We're going to have a good wrestling match. I still don't know if I like Melina in a face role. I don't know if I'm buying it so
You don't
much.
like her in the face?
I'd like to get her in the face, but I don't like Melina playing the good character.
He knocked it out of the park on
Thank
that
you.
one.
By the way, just toss them right up to me.
Put it on
What I'm
a
here
T.
for, folks.
Why don't you just put it on a T for him?
I'll be here all week. Try the veal.
No, you know, thank you. I don't know if I agree with Melina playing the good person in this one. I'm not going to say it again. I don't buy it.
She did injure her heel at one point.
I got you on that. I feel you on that one, homie. I mean, tomorrow's the day where we're all together.
If you had to pick a winner, who might it be?
It would be the member of Glamourella.
Beth Phoenix for Meathead. Frank, your thoughts on this matchup?
No, I didn't
I'm
say
sorry,
Beth
for Meathead.
Phoenix.
You said Glamourella.
I said a member of Glamourella. In comes from outside interference, your winner and new women's champion, Santino Marella. Just kidding.
Francis.
Yeah, it's an interesting match. They have built it up pretty quickly the last couple of weeks, but
It's been built up over a month, actually.
You think it's been a month already?
Over a month.
Since she got back.
Yeah.
Over a month.
The last 2 weeks they've really
Ramped it up. Sure.
And I also see Beth Phoenix winning this thing. Love her finisher. That is a really neat finisher when she pulls
When she
it off.
does it or when Awesome Kong does it?
And when she does it, it's good. I also picked Beth Phoenix in this matchup, in that I see this feud continuing until WrestleMania.
I'm going to go with Melina. I think it's Melina's time. It's been a while since she's had the Women's Championship, and I
About
think
a
it
minute.
makes some sense for Melina to walk out of the Royal Rumble this Sunday on pay-per-view with the strap. Speaking of this Sunday on pay-per-view, we've got some details on the Survivor Series buy rate coming up later in WWE news, and I think once you hear that number, it'll make sense to you why WWE so heavily threw at us the fact that there's a pay-per-view this Sunday and all of the moments, if you will, that you get on pay-per-view. Business is not doing so good on that front for WWE. But again, I picked Melina in that matchup coming up this Sunday at the Royal Rumble. Next, it's for the ECW Championship as the new ECW champion, Jack Swagger,
And his bad teeth.
defends against a man who gets a rematch, the former champion, Matt Hardy. This match headlining the ECW side of things at the Royal Rumble this Sunday. Meathead, your thoughts?
Oh, I hope Hardy pops him in the teeth and he gets those teeth redone again. There's something wrong there. It's, is he wearing a mouthpiece? Has he got those invisible braces on? What's going on?
Maybe he needs to connect with Kurt Angle.
Something. But your winner and still champion. The list is from the mouthpiece, by the way. Your winner and still champion, Jack Swagger.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Swagger also. This will probably be like the second match of the night. They'll obviously
First
bury,
or second.
I don't think it'll be the opening match.
Why not?
Divas
Yeah.
are always sandwiched.
Yeah.
Divas never open.
So
well,
this
you
is
know what?
your
You're
opener.
right. Now that I think about it, these two guys can probably fly around the ring a little bit. They need something that's going to.
These two guys can probably fly around the ring a little bit.
Well, no, you're not going to start up a match with two 400-pound guys. It would kill the crowd.
Kane and Khali have opened up some pay-per-views.
Have they?
Yeah.
Come
on,
throwing
Frank.
that out there. He can't.
Come
He's got to
on,
cite a reference.
Frank.
No.
This is like
Which
Wikipedia.
name?
Cite your reference.
Name the last time that both those guys
This is
started.
the last time I remembered what I was talking about.
You're making me foolish. I mean, that was what I'm thinking. I'm picking Jack Swagger to continue with the belt.
I think Matt Hardy retains, but I think it was just an ECW pop, him winning the title last week on ECW, which didn't equal viewers, by the way.
No.
And we'll talk about that as we go down the road here on this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. The World Wrestling Entertainment Championship will be on the line as Jeff Hardy will defend his title.
What kind of accident will he have before the Royal Rumble?
Well, that's the question that's out
That
there.
guy's blind.
In case you don't recall, SmackDown last week, Jeff Hardy just about burned to death, and obviously in that car accident, and then beaten up at the Survivor Series a couple of months back. Now, the rumors are, and we have a central confirmation now, that this is all going to be tied to Christian Cage. Christian coming back to WWE.
Potential, or is it confirmed?
Dixie Carter made it public.
She didn't make this angle public. She made Christian leaving TNA public.
Now, wait a minute. What name would he use? Christian?
Yeah, he's back.
In WWE,
but it won't be Christian Cage.
Christian.
They wouldn't add the Cage to it.
No.
There are two scenarios that could play out. First, there's the Christian angle, and then some are even saying that it could be a Matt Hardy play who becomes despondent because he's no longer champion and jealous over Jeff's success.
But all that stuff happened before Matt lost the belt and before Jeff got the belt.
Correct, but it's Jeff Hardy arguably more successful than Matt Hardy with the ECW championship.
Nah.
That's the least likely of scenarios, but however, this match, it's interesting about the big championship matchups on this card, the WWE championship match and the World Championship match. I think both are going to end in a screwjob ending, this one involving Christian. But, Meathead, your thoughts on this matchup for the WWE title, Jeff Hardy versus Edge?
Jeff Hardy wins and retains.
And this is the DQ match.
On a pay-per-view, Frank.
It's going to happen. It's going to be the pay-per-view. And if it's going to make sense, make it sense. But to me, this will be the DQ of the evening.
DQ, Jeff Hardy retains.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Pay attention.
I think Edge takes the strap.
Only because you and I said he retains.
No. I think Edge takes the strap because the distraction is the Christian play. If Christian shows up, if Christian's part of this thing, that's the distraction. That's the heinous act that people they wouldn't care that Jeff lost the title.
No.
They'd be so angry at Christian and want to see that feud
Belt
go.
changing hands at NWO.
No way out.
Yes.
The elimination chamber is essentially confirmed, but
essentially there is.
Well, stop it.
Do you want to go?
I
Let's
really
go.
don't.
Let's go.
It is essentially confirmed, especially if you look at the promotional material and all that stuff. But be that as it may, I think Edge retains. I think Edge regains the championship. He's got this Christian play potentially. He's got Vicky Guerrero, obviously, in his corner. He's got all these things in his favor. Edge, the opportunist, I think walks out of the Rumble as the champion. And we're going to continue talking about the Royal Rumble when we get back. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the cause, and the man they call Meathead, here live Monday night, January the 19th, 2009. Before we took that time out, here on 540 ESPN, we were talking about this Sunday's WWE Royal Rumble. We want to hear what you guys have to say about the upcoming show from WWE. You can call us at 276-ESPN. Again, that's 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Again, 1-800-990-ESPN. We are also live at PWRshow.com in the chatmosphere, where you can join us with your live chat along with the show, and also streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com. So, the next matchup is for the World Heavyweight Championship. John Cena, one-on-one with JBL. JBL, who has Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, in his corner. This the third of championship matches, following ECW and WWE strap matches. John Cena, JBL headlining Royal Rumble. Can he walk into WrestleMania as the champion? Remember what I said a moment ago. The two big title matches, I feel, are going to end in screwjob endings. I don't know what Shawn Michaels is going to do, but he certainly is going to do something. Meathead, your thoughts?
We'll try with a mic on. Doesn't that make for an interesting match, though, because you have no idea what Shawn Michaels is going to do? You're kind of curious. You're kind of involved. I mean, again, Frank has said this on the program a few times. He's not sure what's going on with this thing, so it kind of has his interest. He's not sure how it's going to go. So Shawn Michaels jumped in the promo and said, "Enough! You don't know what it's like to live like me. I've blown all our money." So, yeah, I don't know. I think Shawn Michaels continues working for Layfield Energies. Is that what he called it?
Something like that.
Layfield Energetic Butt Sniffers. I have no idea. But I think Shawn Michaels gets involved, but Cena still wins. Cena still retains.
Yeah, and I think Cena's going to retain. Here's what I was thinking when this was going on, and I hope I am wrong because I hate triple threat matches, especially when it headlines what could possibly be WrestleMania. I hope I'm wrong, but it's starting to look like a JBL, Shawn Michaels, John Cena triple threat at WrestleMania. I hope I'm wrong on this. I really hope I'm wrong on it.
I think you are.
They got to split that up. But I think Cena keeps the belt here. But I still like the angle because it is something a little bit different, and to me, only Shawn Michaels is able to pull this off. But that's my fear that this is where it's going, and I'm not a fan of triple threat matches or however they want to do it. So, but the Cena continues with the belt.
Frank, I would tend to agree with y'all. We're going to pick a Rumble winner after we talk about the match, and when you look at that, and remember, there's no way out. The road bump to WrestleMania is what I've called it for years. Things can change, of course, but especially after what we saw tonight, I think it's pretty evident who's the front runner to win the Rumble. I think John Cena walks out with the title because John Cena sells tickets. John Cena will be orders of that pay-per-view, not JBL. I think you need JBL in that main event. I think JBL is not successful in his championship.
No, you
challenge.
don't need JBL in that main event. As a matter of fact, JBL should be where he was last year at WrestleMania, opening up the card with Finlay.
And a Belfast brawl?
Correct me if I'm wrong, they usually have the Royal Rumble last.
Normally.
I think there was one time where they didn't.
Okay, in this situation,
It should be last.
It should be last,
match.
correct?
Oh, absolutely. The Rumble is the main event. It's the namesake.
So
of the
they'll have the Cena match and then the Rumble.
Most likely.
Okay.
Or the Hardy match, then the Rumble.
Yeah.
But what will end up happening, as Damien has mentioned over and over, is the women are always the meat of the sandwich, if you will, no pun intended. It'll probably be between the two title matches.
Yeah.
So the Royal Rumble. 30 men will enter, one will survive. Your thoughts?
Not
We're not going to go over the
Series.
entrance.
One will remain.
Let's go over the. We're not going to go over the entrance, but we will talk about who we think might walk out. I wanted to do like the final four.
Hey, but I was
going to
say
be the
top
final
five.
Four.
Give a top five. That's what I was going to say. But final four.
The final five. You want to do final five?
Final five.
I need the list in front of me.
No, you don't. Just pick the main eventers because it isn't going to be any of the jobbers, Frank.
Well, no, they always throw in one wild card in there. You know it.
Yeah.
The final
Shelton
four, there's
Benjamin.
always someone that is like, what is he still doing in there? It's the Mr. Perfect rule from like 7-8 years ago when all of a sudden he just came out of nowhere and, wait a minute, he's in the final 4. Didn't make any sense.
And there goes Perfect.
Right, and then he was done. So there's got to be somebody. I need the list. Because I have to think this over. But
we'll just do winner.
Okay.
Winner,
How about
chicken dinner.
2?
We'll start with you, Kaz.
Final 2.
Frank's going to pick his final 2 because he doesn't know.
Right.
Your way of getting out of picking a winner.
Of course it is.
No,
Carl.
I'll pick a winner.
Come on, Carl.
Hulk Hogan will come back
to wrestling at some point in his life.
Randy Orton's got to be there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first one out and really messes up everything. But it's going to be Randy Orton. I think it is Chris Jericho still in this thing, is he not?
He's still fired, apparently, after what happened tonight on Raw.
Somehow Jericho gets in there, and Chris Jericho wins this thing.
Okay. Orton and Jericho, final 2. Jericho the winner, in your opinion.
In my opinion.
What you guys didn't hear off air is Frank actually has that guy that doesn't belong. It's Kazarni. Frank said we'll make it down to the final 5. Kazarni. Kazarni, the Kazizu. Yeah.
I was going to say Mike Knox.
He's busy with Rey Mysterio. I'm going to give you a final 5.
Oh, well
okay.
Now.
These are the 5 I think will remain. Trips will be in the final 5. Taker, final 5. Normally Big Dave is in there too, but
happy birthday to Big Dave. Just turned 40.
Yep. Again. Not happy birthday again. Happy 40th again to Big Dave. He's only 45 now. Also, you're going to have Randy Orton, and you're going to have somebody like Shelton Benjamin.
I think Kane will be there.
Kane, he'll have his mid-match run where he eliminates like 6 or 7 in a row. And finally, Y2J. I believe Y2J will be in the Rumble.
Okay.
Now, who do you think walks out with the title of the winner of the Royal Rumble?
I got to go with RKO.
Randy Orton.
see, that's logical, and I obviously makes a lot of sense for him to win this thing just based on how Raw ended. But I would love to see something like, wow, how does that fit? Make us think why things fit or don't fit, because Randy Orton makes sense to win this thing, and I think we've said that many, many times where this certain wrestler makes sense. But this should be something different this year. You know, you have WrestleMania 25.
Remember, Randy Orton also has two guys that are watching his back.
Right.
But let's also remember how much denial we were in 2006 when Ray won it. It was so obvious going
it's not
in.
Like
it's
not like WWE, who are in such denial that in 2004 they don't even have a winner. They don't even talk about that Rumble anymore.
Because what you can do at this point, you have 2.5 months until WrestleMania, where whoever wins this thing, you got a couple months to build this. So if it is someone different, not like way different, like, you know,
I have an idea who it should be, Frank.
Santino.
Mr. Canada.
Now, that would be awesome.
Let's go to the phone line, and we're going to take Terry from Waukesha. You're on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, Terry.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, did I pull far enough away from the microphone that I didn't hurt your ears?
No, I'm good. I'm good, dude, really. Seriously.
Terry, we're looking for Royal Rumble predictions. What do you think about the two main events, one from Raw, one from SmackDown, and the Royal Rumble match itself?
All right, Royal Rumble match itself, I think it's going to be, Final Five is going to come down to Jericho, the three members of the Legacy, and then they're going to throw in some fluff guy who'll probably get eliminated like Meathead.
Yeah, Triple H is a fluffer, isn't he?
Now, Triple H, I mean, it could be Triple H, but I think all three members, at least two members of the Legacy, are going to be in there. Maybe they'll throw in, Manu for some, effect or whatever.
Who wins it?
I still say it's going to be Randy Orton. It's going to either Randy Orton or Jericho. Those are the only two guys I can see that have enough push right now and enough pop. That's, with the way the storylines are developing, that's who I think who it's going to be.
Who would you like to win?
I think JBL is going to come close to winning the world title from Cena, but I think something's going to happen between him and HBK, and HBK is going to give him the super kick by accident. That's the way that I see that working out. What's the SmackDown main event? I'm sorry.
Edge versus Jeff Hardy for the WWE Championship.
I think I don't think they're gonna. They could spoil it and bring Kristen in, and I would say that Jeff possibly retains the title. If not, they're going to try to set up something with Edge being champion. Hopefully, I don't like the fact that Edge does this opportunity thing. I'd like to actually see him get like a clean pinfall and have some legitimacy to his title reign instead of being this opportunist, because I don't think it makes him legit. I mean, how many title reigns has he had, and how many months has his reigns lasted without any seriously like really good matches? I mean, Cena's had some really good matches, and so has some of the other past champions, but right now Edge just doesn't show me anything. He doesn't have the matches that he used to have when it was him and Christian in like tables, ladders, and chairs matches. He's got so much more talent than that.
Jerry, going back to Royal Rumble, who would you like to see win this?
Who would I like to see win it?
Yeah.
Probably I'd like to see Randy Orton, because I think he's got the most push right now.
Okay.
So
you hear the voices telling you that, huh?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
by the way, for those that didn't hear, Rev Theory live on Raw next week, Monday.
Yeah.
Some say that's a hint.
The other thing is, Damian, I think you saw the post that I put up in the Chatmosphere about
Chatosphere.
Yeah, whatever. The thing about the WWE and its titles, does it have copyrights on titles right now, or what? I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah, actually, through an associate, I know the company and the guy that does the belts for WWE, and they are exclusive. Nobody else can use them. They do have them licensed as far as the actual titles go. Now, the names of the titles, I don't know about that, but I would be surprised if they did not. I mean, the World Heavyweight title, anybody could use that. The WWE Championship obviously includes the mark WWE. U.S. titles, TV title, all that stuff. I think you see across some other organizations some of those titles replicated. But in general, I think they do protect their interest and their ownership of their marks. I'm not talking about Meathead and Frank being marks, but they do, I think, protect. I know the designs of the belts are totally protected.
The one last question I have is, I think you answered it, about how legitimate do you think it is that ROH has shot at being called the world title since it does have, with the number of wrestlers that have held it, the quality of the competition, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to hang up and listen to you guys respond, and thank you for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Terry. Meathead Frank, your thoughts? I answered in the Chatmosphere about that, whether or not the Ring of Honor Championship should be a world championship.
Notice we threw to Frank first because Frank's the big ROH guy.
Well, Ring of Honor goes, they travel all over the world. The belt's defended all over the world.
Okay, but think about it. World
is the
title,
WWE.
They call it to me, if you've wrestled that title overseas at some point, call it the world title. Here it isn't, so just call it the heavyweight championship or something like that.
No, the WWE title has been defended across the pond.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Ring of Honor one has been defended across the pond.
ROH,
aren't the winners of the World Series called the
World Champions?
And it's only here in the States?
Well, they played in Canada.
Oh, Canada's part of the state.
And remember, the
North
World
America.
Series involves players from Japan, Canada.
Oh, it's true, but there's baseball in Japan.
But an American
I mean,
team could beat a Japanese
but
team.
I guess the point for me is that there are some wrestlers, I'm assuming, in ROH that were maybe born. And Nigel McGuinness, I believe, was born across the pond.
Yep.
But they haven't wrestled it across the pond. Or wrestled, unless I'm wrong.
Who hasn't wrestled across the pond?
Has ROH?
Yes.
They have?
Yeah,
they've actually had the belt
of the UK
They've
very
actually
often.
had the belt change hands across the pond.
In that case, then yes, I would call it the World Championship.
They have a world title, yes.
Then yeah, that's what
and the WWE has had a belt change hands across the pond.
Looking forward to WrestleMania. I think Randy Orton is the smart pick to walk out of the Royal Rumble with that championship shot going into WrestleMania. Orton-Cena is going to be a big match to have on WrestleMania 25 from Houston, Texas. So I think it is Randy Orton who wins, regardless of what we saw tonight from the WWE Raw broadcast. Let's go to the PWR phone lines again. We've got Steve from Heartland. Steve, you are on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Hello, Steve. Actually, let's move on and take Damon from Milwaukee. Damon, you are on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, good evening, fellas.
Hey, what's going on?
I just want to give you guys my Royal Rumble predictions.
Bring it on, you.
Are they royal predictions?
Yes, they are. Still a little shocked over what Randy Orton did to McMahon, but
he knocked him the heck out.
Oh man, it was brutal. But anyways, in the WWE Championship match, as much as I really hate Edge, I expect him to beat Jeff Hardy.
Yep.
So,
And win? Because remember, a beat doesn't necessarily mean a title changes hands.
Well, yeah, he will. I expect him to cheat and beat Jeff Hardy.
Seven-time champion.
It's okay, whatever.
All right,
but,
JBL or Cena?
In the Cena-JBL match, I really like John Cena. Hope he wins, but I expect my boy Shawn Michaels to accidentally kick JBL, so that just set up a match between him and JBL at WrestleMania.
Okay.
The Rumble winner.
And, of course, the big Royal Rumble match. I'm a huge Triple H fan, so he's obviously my first pick, but I also like Randy Orton, so, we'll see what happens. Either Triple H or Randy Orton. That'll work good for me. And then at WrestleMania, that should set up Triple H and Edge for the WWE Championship, and then Randy Orton and John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship. Classic WrestleMania.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Orton Cena is money. Triple H Edge is money.
That makes sense.
That's the top of a card right there.
Thanks for the call, Damon from Milwaukee. Let's try Steve from Heartland again here on 540 ESPN. Remember, you can join us, folks, on the phone lines by calling 276-ESPN or 800-990-ESPN. Steve, you're live.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, Steve.
I see this thing playing out with JBL and Shawn Michaels, with JBL actually winning the title. And remember that there is like you said, a bump in the road to WrestleMania. JBL winning the title, losing it to Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels setting up versus Cena at WrestleMania. And as far
WrestleMania 23 rather.
And as far as Orton goes in the picture, him and McMahon having something going on, maybe Triple H thrown in there. But obviously he's on SmackDown, so I guess that doesn't
it doesn't matter.
really matter.
So you want a Triple H throwdown?
Yeah. And SmackDown, well, I don't know. Everybody's been talking about, the Christian thing, so I think that goes down the way it's going to go with Edge. Yep. And the Rumble, I would have to say the winner would, the 5 would probably be Tatanka.
Hey, how are you?
As Michael says,
many moves come for you.
Triple H, Vladimir Kozlov, probably, the winner, I would say, is
Taka Michinoku?
Yeah.
The winner who? Who do you think wins it?
The winner of the Rumble, I think, will probably end up being Jericho.
Jericho.
I'm going to go with Jericho.
He's fired. You and Frank picking Jericho. He's fired.
And possibly, I don't know.
We don't have time for him to come back. How does he get reinstated? He's still fired.
No, he's not fired now.
No,
he said, I'll see you at the Rumble. So.
See, what happened was we had to mute the TV when we got on the air, so Damien assumed Jericho was fired. But I let it go.
Yeah. I think he'll probably end up, if somehow on the way to WrestleMania, he either will lose his shot, with the number 1 contendership, how they always have that thrown in there too. It'll
be a plexiglass nightmare in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. And on a side note, I would say that I'm very disappointed that Regal lost his title tonight, by the way. Thank you.
Steve, thank you so much for calling in. We're going to take a time out, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, more from the Pro Wrestling Report, including our top 5 Royal Rumble memories. That's coming up right away when we come back here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. What I'd like to have right now is for all you fat, ugly, Saskatoon skanks to be quiet while I take my robe off and show you what a real man is.
Ooh. Remember when he put Elizabeth's face on his tights?
That was like one of the most heinous things. Get it? Heinous? Yeah. I'd kill me. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. And Davey and Nelson sitting alongside the Kaz and the man they call Meathead. We're going back to the phone lines here. We've got Charlie from Cleveland, Ohio. Charlie, you are on the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up, Charlie?
Cleveland Rock.
Hello, Cleveland!
Finer than a frog hair split 4 ways.
Hey, you probably get sick of hearing that, right? The hello, Cleveland?
Nope.
Hello, Cleveland!
We get sick of it. Charlie, what do you have for us?
As far as the Royal Rumble goes, I don't really know who's going to win.
Well, you got to pick one. You're on the show now. It's all over the world. You got to make your
choice is Orton.
All right.
We can all say Orton.
You know what's bothering me, though? Almost everybody who's called in, we got 2 Jerichos, Frank being one of them, has picked Orton, including myself. And my too obvious.
No, me pick them all.
Because
it makes sense.
Everybody's saying Orton because he just kicked McMahon in the head. That's the
No.
No, I'd say Orton because he's got the legacy with him.
He's the chosen one.
Chosen one.
But really, honestly, he doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble to get a World Heavyweight title shot.
Good point.
So it really doesn't matter.
Good point.
Right. But if they really want him to have the World Heavyweight title shot, they'll give it to him. So
yeah, but on the other end, though,
number 1 contenders match. So it really doesn't matter. That's why I'm like, I kind of want to wait and see and be entertained.
But Orton's hated. Everybody hates Orton, essentially.
Not after tonight. I don't hate him.
No. But here's the thing. Here's how to continue that heat. Have him win the Rumble.
That's right. As I was about to say, Orton winning the Rumble actually forces McMahon to put him in the main event.
But that whole situation where Stephanie slapped him, and they kind of had the whole thing in the ring, kind of like...
Stephanie jiggled when she slapped him, too.
And
jiggling, baby. Go ahead,
and McMahon's automatically have, like, heel heat on him. So it's like,
All right, well, what about...
like, made it confusing for a second. I was like, do I really hate Orton because he gets slapped by Stephanie? Not really.
Cena or JBL?
Probably Cena.
Yep. Edge or Jeff Hardy?
Jeff Hardy to continue the whole who who's trying to get Jeff Hardy.
Right, because all these little accidents are continually building up, and they're going to say that this one person, whoever that is, I'm not saying it's Christian, even though Damien will tell you it's all but confirmed.
I say it's Jay Rizzo.
Yeah. Hey, are you guys, speaking of Bischoff, and this is a tangent, but are you watching the Confessions of a Teen Idol?
Absolutely not.
Oh, love that show. Love that show. Anyways, who's going to win the women's match?
The women's match, probably Beth Phoenix,
Okay.
with interference from that crazy lady.
Well, Charlie, thank you so much for calling in here to the Pro Wrestling
Good night,
Report.
Cleveland.
We appreciate it. Let's continue on the phone trail and go to Bowman from Boston. Bowman, you are here live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hello, Boston.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Bowman?
Oh, you can modify that. Hello, Bowman.
Hello, Bowman.
Okay, let's
Hey, at least you're not calling in, and when I ask you who the Prime Minister of Canada is, you just go quiet and we have to cut
Ruben's
you off.
on hold.
Okay, Ruben, you better have it ready for me. Bowman, go.
Okay, let's start off with the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
I think you have a few possibilities here. I think the pick that makes the absolute most sense would be Randy Orton.
Yep.
To move, but he doesn't need to do that. What would make more sense in his legacy? I call Beverly Hills 90210 storyline they got going on.
Yeah. Wait, new 90210 or old 90210?
Either one, it doesn't matter. I think they can use that to their advantage in the Elimination Chamber. They'll probably have for the number one contenders match, and Orton could win it somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So if it does not main event, a heel will win, and that heel could be Jericho. And Jericho's got better heel heat with the fans than Randy Orton.
I think a lot of us are all, assuming that it's going to be a heel winning this year too. So because we haven't had a heel in years.
Right.
But if it main events, Triple H will probably walk out with this. And what I think will happen is that Jeff Hardy will win his match with Edge. They will build Triple H versus Jeff Hardy in the same sense they built Cena versus Triple H way back in WrestleMania 22 when they just amped it up. It was going to be the most obvious thing. Triple H was going to beat him.
Makes
and
sense.
then he didn't win. Somehow, John Cena won and just put him over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can do the same thing with Jeff Hardy.
Makes sense.
Good point. Bowman from Boston, always appreciate your call. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's go now to Ruben from just north in Ontario, Canada. Ruben, you are live here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Ruben.
Stephen Harper.
There you go, Ruben.
Wait, how do you spell Steven?
It's okay. Ruben, you're welcome.
You're the
back.
man. You're the man.
What's up, buddy?
It would have been better if that was all you had, to be honest with you. Not that we don't want to hear it, but it would have been better if you had left it at that.
And then you hung up, but it's okay.
Go ahead, Ruben.
Well, first of all, I got to get this out of my way about the who I think should win the Royal Rumble. It's someone from my hometown, Christian Cage. He should come in as number 30, steal the show.
That was an interesting point made earlier in the PWR Chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Someone said, what if Christian is an entrant into the Rumble? That could actually be interesting. Because you got to figure that matchup is going to happen beforehand, and maybe it's not. There's so many angles they can go, and that's a good thing.
The only thing I don't want, Ruben, is Christian to be number 30 because they've already done the number 30 thing for a few years now, and the number 30 guy winning, I think I'm done with that.
Well, that's true. They have done that
Christian
a lot.
coming in, before 30, that'd be fine.
Well, to me, it'll make more sense with this whole Jeff Hardy feud. We don't know who the attacker is. We don't know who can be the one after Jeff Hardy.
Is there still a mob influence in Boston? Maybe they did it. Maybe it was a hit because that's where it all started.
Most likely the Royal Rumble will not be the main event. Most likely it'll be the WWE Championship, so they can have Christian come in, win the Royal Rumble, then come later on in the Edge versus Jeff Hardy feud match, and then have him eat out Edge, and then it backfires, and then Jeff Hardy wins, and that will just lead to Jeff Hardy versus Christian Cage at WrestleMania 25.
That's a good fit. Good point, Ruben. Well, we are just out of time here for the first hour. When we come back, folks, it's the Power Hour, the big second hour of the Pro Wrestling Report, and we still have our top 5 Royal Rumble moments, a review of the wrestler news on PWR Fantasy, and a heck of a lot more. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome to the big hour 2 of the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, here in the studio with you on Monday night, January the 19th, 2009. And what a lot of discussion we had. A lot of discussion that we had for the first hour talking about the Royal Rumble. That's coming up, of course, this Sunday on pay-per-view. We've got a lot more to talk about. And right before we do that, let's go back to the PWR phone lines. We've got Curryman on line 3.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up, Curryhead? It's not Curryman, Damien. It's Curryhead. And what I want you to know...
I was just reading off my screen here.
What I want to know is why is somebody logged into the chat Osphere under my name? Are you looking at that, Damien? Somebody's logged in as my name.
I called the Secret Service. They're taking care of it.
Yeah, thank you. Curryhead, we need you to go ahead and tell Damien who your uncle is.
He's the Kamali, the Ugandan giant, and also...
Why'd you have to think about it for so long?
I'm not thinking about it. I'm just a little tired, man. I've been up all day.
Okay.
All right,
hey, we're talking Rumble.
All right, I'm gonna go with the obvious. I'm not gonna go with Randy Orton. I'm gonna go with somebody that will be impossible. I'm thinking about outside the box. See, I'm thinking outside the box. I'm thinking outside. Before I start.
Taco Bell?
No. I'm thinking Montavious MVP, baby.
Bontavious
Porter. Think about it. Since the Cardinals is going to the Super Bowl, I want to go with something out of the ordinary. And by the way, I forgot to mention this, Meathead. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. You know, I found the one.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about Neo from the Matrix.
By the way, Meathead, I will personally come up there, man, and bring my good stock for your bachelor party.
We can't talk about that on the air, sir.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. We've got to move on, actually, and talk about now our top 5 Royal Rumble memories. As Royal Rumble's been around for quite some time, 22 years, I will say. I think this is the 22nd installment of it. And we've got to boil all those years down to 5 moments from those years. And I'll let you, Meathead, start off, because you got them written down, huh? It's impressive.
You want my number 5? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are we going to go back?
We're going to go back. We're going to go. Yeah, let's go back and forth. Fine.
Okay. 1998. All 3 faces of Foley showed up in the Rumble.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's easy.
Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and Mankind all eliminated in the 1998 Royal Rumble. Very entertaining. That might be the year, too. Remember, we were talking off air. What was the year that Kai and Tai kept showing up in the Rumble, trying to get in and get thrown right back out? That might have been a year. I'll let the chat Osphere let us know which one it was. Number 5, 1998.
Number 5 for me is, I think, going back to 2003 when Raven eliminated The Undertaker, merely for the look on The Undertaker's face.
Let me ask you a question. Are you sure you want to say Raven or the guy that you look like, Maven?
I said Maven.
You said Raven.
I said Maven.
You said Raven.
I said Maven.
Shadow
Dragon, what did I say? I said Maven. You both need to get your ears checked.
Yeah.
That's my number 5, damn it. You're number 4.
Well, I'm going to...
Maven.
Yeah.
Huffman.
Thank you. 1994. Dual winner for the Royal Rumble. Bret the Hitman Hart and Lex Luger.
There was one winner.
Dual winner.
There was one winner.
Winder?
There was
you don't
one
even know
winner.
how to say Maven. Raven. Winder. 1994.
Jesus.
Didn't Jack Tunney get involved with that?
Possibly. When Jack Tunney was still president.
Number 4 for me would have to be just last year's Royal Rumble when John Cena made a surprise return to the Rumble. It truly, Meathead, was a great moment. Not anything you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
It was a stand-up out of your seat moment.
Exactly, because nobody expected it. It was one of those rare surprises that we still get on occasion in professional wrestling. So my number 4, Meathead's number 4, is the Luger-Bret Hart scenario to end the 1994 Rumble. Meathead, you're number 3.
The original. Ho! Hacksaw Jim Duggan, 1988. You know, back in the day, in 1998, I remember reading the results in the Milwaukee Journal that morning, that Sunday morning. I saw the results for the Royal Rumble. You know, because at that point, wrestling still got the results on the scorecard in the paper.
I think it was on NBC, the first Rumble.
I'm not sure about that.
I know it wasn't on pay-per-view. I guarantee you.
Correct.
Number 3 for me would have to be
Raven.
Austin of Stone Cold Austin, winning in 1997.
Yeah.
That was in the Alamo Dome, I believe. Yes, it was in the Alamo Dome. Stone Cold Steve Austin came in, and there was some controversy involving him and Bret Hart. And that was when he first started. I remember him sitting in the corner, looking at his watch, waiting for the next entrant.
Yeah.
And it was just, that really was, remember when Stone Cold was being defined as the character that he was, that really just sort of drove it all home. Stone Cold Steve Austin in the 1997 WWE Royal Rumble.
I'm going to throw it out to the Chatosphere, and they're throwing out their memories as well. Drew Carey in the Rumble, the year that he got in, Stud Kane got the hell out. One of the very few to actually eliminate himself, said, out of here. And by the way, the first ever Rumble was on the USA Network, according to the Chatosphere.
Thank you for that.
My number 2 is a very unique one, 1992. Damien, why is that one a unique one? Woo!
I don't want to spoil my list.
Woo! 1992, Rick the Nature Boy Flair wins it.
He was the real world champion.
Becomes the WWE champion. This is where you talk.
I was taking note. I was 16.
Flair.
Yeah, we need to talk about your Flair.
You want Flair? Here's Flair. Here's Flair. This is the part where it's good that it's not TV. Number 2 for me would have to be your number 4, Meathead, which is the Lex Luger controversy in 1994. Sold perfectly by Heenan, Monsoon, Finkel, and all involved. Jack Tunney, I think, actually came down to ringside, and Luger determined to be the winner of the Rumble as his feet never touched. But that was, you always had a clear-cut winner in the Royal Rumble leading up to that point. To have it end in controversy was nothing that we had seen before, and really I went to find that clip and get it on the site because it was just so well played by WWE at the time. And now, Meathead, your number 1 Royal Rumble moment of all time, right here. Go.
The one that doesn't get spoke of on WWE.com. The year 2004. At this point, I remember watching this in my house. I was watching it on delay, and I was standing up going, come on, Chris. Come on, Chris. I actually became a big mark again. You can even watch our PWR shows from, the vintage series of tapes that we did. I explained it just like that. We talked about it. Chris Benoit winning the Rumble. I marked out. I mean, we're talking, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm jumping up and down screaming because that was the year that I cared for Chris Benoit. Remember, it's the one that's not spoken of anymore.
Number 1 for me is your number 2, Meathead. Ric Flair winning the Royal Rumble in 1992. It was such a special night. You had Heenan and Monsoon on the stick. Heenan just going ballistic up in the booth. And, Flair was the real world champion. He entered at number 1, 2, or 3. I don't remember specifically which one it was. And Heenan's just having a conniption. It was just so well played and so well done. And for Flair to win it and become I think he was the first at the time, both WWF and WCW and NWA champion, that was a pretty special moment. So that's the top Royal Rumble moment for me. What do we have in this atmosphere, Rita?
I'm still looking at some guy that has my name, and it's kind of upsetting me.
A lot of people who are upset right now are former employees of World Wrestling Entertainment. They cleaned house over the course of the last 12 days, and we've got the list of names. Firstly, a veteran of almost 15 years, Bob Holly, gone from WWE. I think he really was done with the company when he didn't have any new tough enough people to beat up. Val Venus, gone. Kevin Thorne, gone. Bam Neely, D'Lo Brown, Ron Simmons, gone. Matt Capitelli, who I think was the one Bob Holly beat up on Tough Enough, gone. Abe Vincent, Gavin, and Mike Cruel, 2 developmental talents, gone. Gavin Spears also released. And then some backstage personas were also released. Ron Simmons, damn, gone. Sergeant Slaughter, Meathead, a long-time employee of World Wrestling Entertainment, released, along with Tim White, Jimmy Corderas, referees, Mike Keenan, Mike Posey, and Mickey Henson, all gone from WWE. Meathead, any of those names on that list of 16 surprise you?
Sergeant Slaughter?
I would say that as well. As a couple of these people were developmental talents, and Bob Holly, we haven't seen him on air in I don't know how long. Val Venus, we've wondered for a lot of years why they've kept him around. He was a good hand. He was a man who worked, and And, I guess it gets to the point in the wrestling business where you got to look at how valuable a person is. Now, these cuts were said to have been made, Meathead, as of not the current WWE economic situation, but in the perceived future economic situation, at least in the short term for 2009. You've heard of so many businesses doing these things. Circuit City's going out of business after trying to cut
Did
back.
anybody ever go to Circuit City? I never went there.
Occasionally. They installed my XM satellite radio.
Really, that's a shame.
Well, I get like 12 ESPN channels on there.
Yeah, but the Ocho.
I listen to that one just because it's fun. But anyways, this is the business climate that's going on right now. Is companies are scaling back, and I don't think any of these moves are moves that they shouldn't have made if they're just looking to save money. They cut people who, quite frankly, nobody's going to miss.
Sergeant Slaughter. Like I said, not that.
What, when he runs in and breaks, he would have been out there tonight breaking it,
right.
Helping Vince.
What are they going to do? Get rid of Dean Malenko next?
Maybe that would be move number 922.
I know.
Now, here's the question, because the speculation has been rampant on the Internet and will continue to be, but who of this list, if interested, both parties being interested, should TNA consider picking up? I was only able to identify 2 people. Meathead, of those people,
Sergeant Slaughter.
Who do you think? Of those people, who do you think
Val
TNA
Venus should be okay?
No, why?
Because Val Venus can
Sean
work.
Morley. He couldn't be Val Venus in
right.
TNA.
Chief Morley? He probably couldn't be that either.
Why should they take
Sean Morley?
Yeah.
Because he can wrestle.
That's true. Does he really? Do you think he really would be
Run
interested,
down that list
though?
again, because I don't know if there's anybody else on there I want.
Bob Holly?
No.
Kevin Thorne, Bam Neely? D'Lo
Kevin
Brown could go
Thorne.
back? Really?
Kevin Thorne.
Ooh, with Selena.
Maybe. Oh, well, she's out of the company.
Gone,
yeah, pay attention.
I was only able to identify 2 names, that of Ron Simmons and Sergeant Slaughter. And let me tell you why. Backstage, business acumen. They know the business. That's what they were doing with WWE. They obviously know how things are run in WWE, more so than any of the wrestlers probably that have come over to TNA. I think those would be 2 solid acquisitions for TNA. I don't think any of the in-ring talent, to be honest with you, are worth pursuing. Now, keep in mind, they can do some very interesting things with some of these people. But I really don't see anybody but those 2 as being useful if both parties are interested.
Shadowsphere. I'm going to throw it out to Farley. How about an earlier release, Elijah Burke to TNA?
I'd love to see that.
But then again, we wouldn't have to.
Elijah in the
then we wouldn't have to see him run around like a scared little girl on Ghost Hunter.
You know you like that.
It was amusing.
So again, those are the only 2. But again, I think both parties should be interested, and I wouldn't imagine TNA's too interested in beefing up their roster right now.
Beefy.
Given what they have and given what's going on in the world, and we talk about the pay-per-view problems that WWE is having, even with some of its mainstay events. TNA probably is not in much better of a situation. We talked about 2 weeks ago the buy rates for their pay-per-views for 2008, at least the ones we know of, and business is stable, but it always run that risk, and you want to cut costs, which is what WWE has done with these moves. So several people released from WWE. We should not forget as well that they released about 10% of their office staff from the WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut as well. So a lot of people released, including Stephanie McMahon's assistant and Vince McMahon's limousine drivers. Drivers, plural. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
You look so good to me.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Who's Billy and who's Chuck? I think I'm Chuck.
Damian Nelson's the man they call Meathead. Here live with you on Monday night, January the 19th, 2009. We are here live on 540 ESPN. You can join us on the phone lines, 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. And Meathead, let's talk about some TNA news, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Last week, Impact beat ECW in the also important ratings, 1.2 to a 1.1. It was TNA's second largest audience ever, 1.8 million viewers. As you know, ECW featured Jack Swagger becoming the new ECW champion. That match had been hyped for some time. However, I don't think it brought people.
Less than a day.
Well, it was hyped a little bit. You knew that more than you knew Hernandez. Hernandez was going to be cashing in the money or the the Feast or Fired briefcase on Impact on Thursday. And by the way, we'll talk about Impact a little more later, but 1.8 million viewers, Impact beating ECW. Does it really matter?
No, it doesn't. And the fact that you bring it up doesn't.
Well, it
really
is newsworthy. It is their second largest audience ever. That is newsworthy. And remember, coming off the heels of Genesis pay-per-view, remember that bump WWE used to get every Monday after a pay-per-view from the cheap people who didn't buy it?
Yeah.
I think this was a similar thing that you got from TNA. Or Thursday night was just a night where people were at home and watched TV. It could be because it was cold in Chicago. It's a big market, Dixie Carter. For those you don't know, she's the CEO of TNA Wrestling.
And
not
the owner of some lipstick still on Damien's collar.
No, it's out now.
Oh, you got it out.
I finally got her lipstick out of my shirt, yeah. Dixie Carter stated publicly that Christian has left TNA in a recent interview and is going to World Wrestling Entertainment. She said about that move that she is very disappointed. Also took note that this was the first superstar to come from WWE and go back.
Well, that's not necessarily true, but by choice. Because if you think about it, Shannon Moore,
Gail Kim.
She
was in WWE
Jeff
for
Hardy, about a minute.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy.
That is true. A lot of people actually have made that move. Hardy was there for a good 2 years.
Yeah. Well, he only showed up for 8 years.
Right. 6 months of it, but be that as it may. So Dixie's saying publicly that not only has he gone, but he is going to WWE, which pretty much seals up that deal. As far as she would know, I guess, and I imagine that conversation occurred between her and Christian or Christian and Jeff Jarrett. Now, is this a big blow to TNA, Meathead?
Yeah, because he could be in the front line, even though technically he could be in the main event Mafia. Christian Cage was a main eventer in TNA. I don't know if Christian's a main eventer in WWE.
Oh, well, my theory is he's going to have a big return bump and then buried. It's my theory.
Him and Jericho could go back to rubbing ass cream on each other.
Meathead, I saw a movie just last night, actually, at the beautiful Oriental Theater here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That movie called The Wrestler. A lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of talk about it on the forum at pwrshow.com and the Chatmosphere, of course, as well. Lots of buzz in the wrestling world and the theatrical world about this movie.
Mickey Rourke has already won a Golden Globe for Best Actor. Bruce Springsteen has already won a Golden Globe for Best Song from a Movie.
It was a good movie overall. Mickey Rooney, in my opinion, was spectacular.
Mickey Rooney's like
okay, I
97
wrote down
years old.
Rooney. I always think of Rooney, but I mean Rourke.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke. Now, what would the movie have been like if Mickey Rooney was in it?
Well,
like the end of WCW, last days of WCW.
If you go to the Mickey Rooney that was
that's why I threw Rooney in there, just to get to that point. That was the punchline right there. You fell for it. You all bought it. You bought it hook, line, and sinker. You all bought it.
Mickey Rooney, if you're talking about the Mickey Rooney.
No, we're talking about Mickey Rourke.
That was goofed on by Family Guy. That's the one that eats poop. Mickey Rourke was in The Wrestler. And also in Marlboro Man and Jack Daniels, whatever movie that was.
Mickey Rourke absorbed this role. He really immersed himself into this role, learning a lot of wrestling moves. He's doing hurricanranas and doing all kinds of moves. And
Mickey Karanas?
I don't know if he ever used a stunt double. I couldn't tell. But, this was impressive. And really, Meathead, the entire movie told a very good story and seemed, I say, as if it could have been based off of a true story. It seemed to really tell that story of what we've seen, to be honest with you, in wrestling locker rooms, what we've seen of some of the stars who are still traveling and have seen those glory days. Now, not everything's a tragedy. Believe you me, we've seen some, most, as a matter of fact, that have come out and they saved their money and they're in a good place and they're simply doing this to just be in the business. But it really told an interesting story about the life you live while being a professional wrestler and the life you live after being a professional wrestler.
Correct.
And sticking with what you know, which is in being in front of that audience, putting your body at risk to give the fans what they want. But at that same time comes family, friends, people who really, you don't pay as much attention to as maybe you
and
could or want to. George Costanza likes her, I understand.
Me too.
So, it could have been based on a series of true stories. I don't know if there was really a basis for the film, but it could be good for Ring of Honor, Meathead, which was prominently featured in the end sequence along with your boy, Ernest the Cat Miller. Now, people said his performance may get him other roles in movies.
People said that
he was
his
just being a
performance.
wrestler.
People said his performance also won him in the Chadosphere, the Women's Championship.
Chadosphere. Good movie. I highly recommend it if you could see it in your town. I believe it has a central release nationwide now. It's made about $5 million.
But remember, that's limited
of that.
release.
Exactly, 1.7 of that million coming just this past weekend. And as Meathead said, it has won awards, including the Golden Globe for Best Actor. Very good movie. Pops in right at about 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Got to go to the Chadosphere again. Farley wants to say, wait, Ernest Miller was in The Wrestler? Somebody calls Mama. I do see Ernest Miller getting more roles, though, because you know what? Wrestlers, as far as TV roles, I do see wrestlers doing, because they can do a lot of their own stunts, a lot of action.
And that's the thing. How many movie people, if you will, would watch wrestling? Now that they have the opportunity to see the art utilized in a theatrical sense, they think he's good, but he's just as good as a lot of the other talents out there. And you see, you look at The Rock, Stone Cold, to a degree Hulk Hogan, minus Thunder in Paradise. Once these talents are realized and they get put in the right role, because many of them should be in supporting roles and not starring roles, in my opinion, but when they're put in the right role, there is this opportunity.
So what you're saying is Ted DiBiase Jr. shouldn't be the Marine, too?
I've not yet screened that film.
Kennedy
so I'm not
shouldn't
able to
be
say.
behind enemy lines?
From what I understand, he shouldn't.
Okay.
I've not seen that either. Did you pick up the DVD when it dropped on Tuesday last week?
I don't pick up DVDs that drop because they're probably scratched. And I get Blu-ray.
Let's go to the VI3, ladies and gentlemen.
VI3? I only had Rumble stuff set up. Go ahead.
You suck.
I know.
And we'll start with the man they call Meathead.
Starting off with my male wrestler for the week in my VI3, I will go out to, once again, the master of the unibrow and the unibeard, if you will, Santino Marella. That's the male in my VI3. My female in the VI3 goes out to Eva Menendez. Is that her name? Who's the crazy broad that chases around Beth? Rosa Menendez.
Yeah.
Okay, Rosa is my female. And my tag team of the week.
You like her so much you don't even know her name.
Yeah, thank you. And my tag team
Menendez.
of the week is going to be the tag team that stood up for the honor of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Yo, yo, yo. Crime Time.
And the definitive VI3, the one all of you tuned in to listen to tonight. Number one goes to Hernandez. What a match. What a match on Impact with Sting, cashing in Feast or Fire, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on here. The female spot goes to Awesome Kong, the Dominant Beast in TNA, and the tag team spot.
Is that her Kong Tourage? Is that really what
it's
called?
It is the Kong Tourage, yes.
Terrible.
Next, we go to the tag team spot, which could be taken by no other than the team that regained the TNA Tag Team Championship.
Sorry
Beer Money
about your
Incorporated.
damn luck. Which, again, honorable mention in the top 10 wrestling teams of all time. TNA not making the top 10 for me, Damien, but James Storm's theme, nice. But the rest of them, way too bland to make the list.
Lots of feedback for that, and let's talk about that list, as that was on PWR TV, which can be seen at PWRshow.com Friday nights at 9 o'clock p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 14 in Milwaukee. That episode will replay this week, and as I said, you can get it on demand at PWRshow.com. But let's go over the list. Meathead, number 10 for
I hope you're not asking me to remember my list.
Oh, no, I've got it written down.
Thank you.
I still carrying your ass. Number 10 for me was D-Generation X. Number 9.
Bring it down.
Again, these are the top 10 wrestling teams of all time as we saw them. And we've got some comments on our YouTube channel that we're going to read as well for some of the ones that some of the viewers submitted. But before we get to that, let's continue going over our list. Number 9 for me, the Ultimate Warrior. Number 8, here comes the X. Here comes the Smasher. Their Demolition, a walking disaster. Number 7 was JFF. J-R-E-T-T. Jeff Jarrett. Do you think he'd ride the horse out one more time?
Maybe.
Number 6 was to a family, the family of McMahon. Every one of them has a distinctive theme. Vince McMahon's No Chance in Hell from the Royal Rumble 1999, the one he won. And Shane McMahon, Here Comes the Money, dollar bills.
Money
Stephanie,
talk.
All Grown Up, and Linda McMahon, for those of you who may not know, the old WrestleMania theme is actually her theme song. Number 5 for me went to the original Stone Cold Steve Austin theme song. Number
when
4.
You hear the glass, that means your ass.
Number 4, the NWO, not Wolfpack, but the original NWO. Number 3 is, I think I had some Birdman Blues because I saw Frankie dancing on my shoulder, and it was Coco Beware. Number 3 in my top 10 themes of all time. Number 2 is A Real American, Hulk Hogan. And number 1,
I got the long sideburns and my hair slicked back, coming to your town in my pink Cadillac.
the Honky Tonk Man, number 1 for me.
You want to hear my top 10?
Let's hear your top 10, Meathead.
Number
top
10
wrestling themes of all time.
Number 10, and by the way, check out the video because there's a little story that goes with my number 10 from Blizzard Brawl 4.
Oh. Boom, 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 boom.
NWO Wolfpack number 9, Mr. Kennedy.
Now you wait.
Kennedy.
No. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep.
I can't. This is a mic right in my face. I can't go full volume. I actually have to pull it away. Number 8 is Hulk Hogan, Real American. Number 7 is the Legion of Doom, not the Oh What a Rush, but the Legion of Doom coming out to Iron Man. Number 6, If You Smell. Number 5, Hollywood Hogan's Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix when he's standing next to a mountain, chopping him down with the edge of a hand.
And if you haven't, if I may interject for just a moment, if you haven't listened to that entire song, you got to do it. Get it on your iPod.
It's an amazing song. Or get the Jimi Hendrix Ultimate Experience CD. That's a great CD. All his best stuff on there. Number 4, the King of Kings, Triple H. Number 3, Batista, because he walks alone. Number 2 is Damien's number 1, the Honky Tonk Man. And number 1, as you can tell by the entrance to the second hour, I'm a fan of Metalingus. I'm a fan of Walter Bridge. And Edge's number 1 theme, right there. You Think You Know Me. On this day.
The current version with the You Think You Know Me thrown in.
Yes.
What do the fans have to say?
Well, you know what? Let's go to Lithium Project. He says, in no particular order, by the way. And you know what's funny is both of our lists didn't include The Undertaker. But on Lithium Project,
we talked about that, though, at least on the TV episode.
He's got Ministry of Darkness. He's got Sandman's ECW theme, which was Enter Sandman. Randy Orton's Burning My Life. Hulk Hogan, the original. Hulk Hogan, the Voodoo Child. The NWO. Edge, Metalingus. Christian Cage and TNA, even though it's a ripoff of his final WWE song, which all TNA songs are. They're just, man, they got to work on this stuff. Sting, Seek and Destroy from Metallica at the end of his WCW run was an amazing one as well. And DDP's Self High 5. So,
which was a sample of
Nirvana.
Teen Spirit.
Smelled like Teen Spirit, yeah.
We got one more?
Sure. Mr. Tototanes? No, Mr. Totanes. I can't pronounce that. Number 10, Love, Fury, Passion, Energy. That's the leadest song. Again, you know, if I did a top 20, that would probably be in there. The Brian Kendrick's theme song. That's his number 9. Sorry About Your Damn Luck, James Storm. 7, If You Smell by The Rock. 6, Voodoo Child, obviously. 5, The Undertaker's theme before You're Gonna Pay, and rolling basically the instrumental of You're Gonna Pay. Dead Man Walking. Then you've got Glass Shatters by Disturbed, which is the best Stone Cold version. You know, Glass Shatters, because it was nice and heavy and crunchy. Slow Chemical by Finger 11, Kane's theme. Break the Walls Down, Y2J. And it's ironic that, again, me being the big Jericho guy that I am, I didn't put Jericho's music on there, even the Saliva version. And number 1, Voices, RKO. That's his number 1.
I hear voices. He's going to be signing autographs, actually, in Champaign, Illinois, will be Randy Orton when January 30th,
Don't forget, next week, Monday, Rev Theory live on Raw performing Voices.
We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we've got more news on TNA Impact from last week, WWE SmackDown, and a whole lot more coming up on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Get the latest fantasy information during Fantasy Sports Weekly, Saturday mornings at 9 on 540 ESPN. Sunday mornings, it's the Miller Lite Football Show with Mark Chimura.
Are you shocked that this is going on again?
Yeah. He got a big ego.
So he's not.
I never knew it was that big. You know, and my contention's always been he's got too many yes men around him. If someone around him, like if he came back to me and Frankie and said, Brett, come on, just hang it up. You're looking foolish. Clearly can't play it.
So you'd say that to him?
Sure. The last 5 games, I mean, he couldn't throw it out of his shadow in Seattle.
Or if you say, hey, Chew, man, my shoulder, you know, they found a lot of messed up stuff there. I shouldn't have been playing that way.
And I'd say, well, you content in being a backup?
No. I think you're going to tell me Tavares Jackson and Gus Ferrata are better than me, Chew?
I would say he's getting pretty close.
You would not say that to
I would
him.
say Tavares Jackson's better in December in Chicago with it 12 degrees out.
You would say that to Favre?
I would, yeah.
You'd be back out of the family again.
I tell it like it is.
Sunday morning at 10, it's the Miller Lite Football Show on 540 ESPN.
Birdman Blues, sing the Birdman Blues.
Come on, everybody.
Come on, everybody.
Put your hands together and do the bird with me.
How many Frankies do you think there were?
7.
Did Matilda ever get a hold of Frankie?
6.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Little Coco, beware there. Here tonight, we are live, January 19, 2009. Meathead, obviously a historic day as we celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday.
It's an historic 2 days.
Going into tomorrow, we actually put a new president into office. Whether you agree with him or not, it is certainly a special moment in this country. As pointed out by many people across the world over the last few days, we are one of the few countries where the transition of power happens in a peaceful and celebration-type setting. So enjoy the day tomorrow and enjoy what hopefully will be a bright future under this
administration.
Let's talk about WWE news. First of which is Loki has indeed signed with the company. He's been wrestling in Florida Championship Wrestling under the name of Kawau, which means soldier in some language. Loki, Senshi, and TNA most recently, one of the best wrestlers out there today, one of the most amazing talents to just watch out there today.
I still feel bad because I told him to get away from my beer.
Yeah, well, you were focused on the beer, not the
like, dude,
superstars.
Seriously, I know you're on the crutch right now, but can you get away from the cooler?
Could lead to a good series of matches with the man he is rumored to be feuding with when he comes in, that being Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, that'd be a nice set. Nice set of matches.
Also, speaking of Rey Mysterio, apparently he has signed a new deal with WWE, a 3-year deal with a 2-year option, meaning you can pick up a 2-year option if both parties agree, or if WWE agrees at the end of that 3-year term. So little Ray, who I believe just turned 34, I may have read, is going to be staying with WWE for quite some time. Remember, we reported that he may have been thinking of actually going down to Puerto Rico or Mexico and wrestling down there where things could have been a little more reasonable or a little more beneficial to him as far as money goes. So little Ray going to be around for another few years. D.H. Smith, Meathead, could be the next member of the Legacy. We saw Shamu booted out last week, but this certainly would cancel any of those Hart Foundation plans. We've seen Natalya Neidhart on SmackDown for several weeks, and now it looks like D.H. Smith may be the next member of Legacy, which, quite frankly, is turning out to be a nice little stable in WWE. Ted DiBiase back now, aligning with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, and we talked about Cody's interaction with his brother Dustin Rhodes tonight on Raw, and I think we've got almost an evolution kind of talent mix, except you don't have the foundation, which was Ric Flair in that scenario.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been working in the chat-o-sphere here and trying to monitor. Chat-o-sphere. So.
Randy Orton gets into another fan altercation. It keep popping up occasionally, and at least
you
the
think
discussion.
This is something that they're working?
I don't think so, but here's what I do know. It did happen in La Crosse, Wisconsin. There was a fan who got into a little situation with Randy Orton. Orton, pushed the barricade, which we've seen countless times in professional wrestling, and the fan fell back. Now, the question is, Meathead, we've seen this as well. Fans many times cross that line.
Not TNA style.
Not TNA style, exactly. Fans many times cross that line and think because they've got their little ticket they paid to get in that they can do whatever they want. They can reach out, touch the wrestlers, they can throw personal insults at wrestlers and the performers in general. Sometimes those hit home. Sometimes they strike a chord, Meathead, and the wrestlers do lash out. They go back. We saw Kevin Nash. I don't think it really bothered him, but we saw it Blizzard Brawl 4, which you can purchase on DVD. We saw him spend a lot of time with a fan at ringside who just wouldn't shut up.
But you know what? The fan and Kevin Nash knew was both in good fun because what happened afterwards off the cameras, he brought the guy in, took pictures with him, shook his hand. I mean, it was all in good fun.
How should the boys deal with it? When I say the boys, I mean the wrestlers. You got a fan out there who's obnoxious? You know a little bit about obnoxious.
No, I don't.
They get in the face?
No contact.
Well, we see so many times.
Verbal.
This is the second
you
or
can
third
go
time
verbal.
with Orton.
You can go verbal, You can, if somebody throws a beer at you, you can take somebody else's beer, throw it back at them, but no physical contact.
I would tend to agree, but what about the fans' responsibility?
Oh, the fans should be chucked at that point, too.
Chucked, meaning ejected from the building?
Ejected from the building. Promoted to fan outside the building.
Umenga returned at a house show over the weekend for WWE.
He's getting a lot of promos on SmackDown.
He is coming back, and the Survivor Series, which was the November pay-per-view from WWE, disappointed, apparently, with 205,000 buys domestically, 121,000 buys abroad. Now, compare those numbers to 2007.
Did you say abroad?
I said abroad.
Because I knew abroad once.
Across the pond.
Oh, abroad. I was like,
I've almost got my UK trip booked, by the way.
Oh, can I go?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, we've spent time before hanging out, and I get that, but I'm not going to UK with you. Huh?
Going with my dear friend Ann Scully.
Hey, can I go to Australia then, and then you go to UK? Because, I mean, I guess if Australia was a prison colony at first, it would make sense that I go there.
I'm not going nowhere that takes you 24 hours to get there. That's
no way.
It takes to get to Australia.
No way. I'm going on Qantas, I think is the name of the airline.
Right, and it's going to take you 24 hours to get there. Anyways, Survivor Series last year, 341,000 buys domestically, 215,000 buys abroad, for a total of about 565,000 buys. Now, this year, Meathead, remember, the big hype was over Cena's return. It seemingly didn't equal buys for the event.
Because
and
everybody
that's why
knew Cena was going to win.
Well, true, but that's why you see all the promotion for even tonight on WWE television about the pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, the Royal Rumble. Survivor Series, Royal Rumble,
I don't
WrestleMania.
think they got to pub the Royal Rumble like that, though, because, Damien, you and I have been to the last 3 WrestleManias. This year may be a real stretch. I'm saving up for a big event. You might not be able to get off work. I don't see either of us making it down to Houston, Texas this year. But you know what pay-per-view I do buy?
Houston's the new Orleans.
You know what pay-per-view I do buy every year from the WWE?
The
Royal Rumble, and I buy it in high definition.
Is it worth the extra $10?
Extra $5 for this guy.
So WWE pulling out all the stops to try to get those buys up, and I agree with you, Meathead. Royal Rumble is one that you always order. You always want to see it because, quite frankly, even if you know who's going to win it, just getting there is fun.
Yeah.
SmackDown set a record on My Network TV with 3.9 million viewers the other week and a 2.2 rating. That was the highest ever on My Network TV, which really isn't saying much, but what it is saying is a lot of people are watching SmackDown each and every week. We heard that Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. He's the marquee main event, if you will, talent. Well, Bill Watts will also be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Cowboy Bill Watts from the Southern Wrestling Promotions of old. The Hall of Fame event is not sold out yet, but don't be shocked because that is at the larger, less intimate Toyota Center. The Hall of Fame last year did sell out initially, but they were going to curtain off the arena, chose not to do that, released more tickets, but eventually didn't sell out.
If we do go to Houston, Texas this year, I will not be going to the Hall of Fame.
I am indeed going to the Cauliflower Alley Club April 13th through 15th, I believe it is, in
city?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, see, can I go to that?
Perhaps.
Absolutely not.
Perhaps. No, perhaps. J.J. Dillon is going to be the master of ceremony.
JoJo.
Yes, indeed. Maybe he'll a shoe. Honestly, who uses a shoe? But anyways, yeah, I'm done with the Hall of Fame, but the reasons are much too long to note here with the time we have left. But tickets are still available for that event, and you can get them at WWE.com or Ticketmaster.com. As Meathead said, next week, Rev Theory is scheduled to perform live, at least by what they are saying, at Raw in Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of internet speculation out there that this means Randy Orton must win the Royal Rumble. As you know, earlier this hour, we talked about the Royal Rumble, and a lot of speculation is out there that Randy Orton indeed will be that man. Rev Theory, Meathead, you've had the opportunity, we've had the opportunity to see them live. I don't think they did the Voices song, but
they didn't have the Voices song out that point yet.
Did a great. Still not available on iTunes. Voices song.
It will be next week when the CD comes out. We got to see
because that's about the only track worth buying on Volume 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm going to get Kelly. Because that's also available as well. They've probably got, your Kennedy, remix again probably on there too. No, that CD probably not worth buying. But Rev Theory, we accidentally, Damien, we were mulling around, didn't know what was going on. We were standing next to a stage, and all of a sudden turn around, and here comes Rev Theory, and we turn around, and there's like 1,000 people behind us. I've got to see him do Hell Yeah. I got to see him do, Light It Up. Good show.
Great performance. Great performance. Great song, Light It Up, by the way. Still on my top played and top rated on my iPod Touch.
Mm-hmm.
But the tracks on Volume 9, just in case you don't know, Randy Orton's voices, Maurice's Porqué, Kane, Red. I think there's been a version of Kane song on almost everyone. Kung Fu Naki's Kung Fu San. All right. Kelly and R-Truth are like next to each other. So I said, Kelly's Holla, R-Truth, what's up? What's up? What's up? Vladimir Kozlov, Pain. The Great Khali, Land of Five Rivers. Probably not his new hip-hop or new dance version. Eve, She Looks Good. Jack Swagger. The song is titled Me to Get on Your Knees.
Yeah.
Get on your knees.
Uh-huh.
The new SmackDown theme, If You Rock Like Me. Umaga's Tribal Trouble. That's actually worth getting it for. And Priceless.
Priceless.
So I wouldn't drop $15 on the whole CD. I would drop
99 cents on Voices.
Yeah. And actually, it's called Voices, it looks like.
The whole CD is called Voices.
The whole CD is called Voices, WWE The Music Volume 9. There's going to be a 2-CD deluxe edition available at Best Buy. Enough about that. I'm sick of plugging WWE crap.
Yeah, well, I mean, Voices. That's the song you got to get.
Jeff Hardy's pyro accident, air quotes, pyro accident on Smacky Wacky last week. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, you know what? And had you buying it for the first day or so maybe, but then when you think about it and put it all together, this is the bad luck Jeff Hardy.
Is he worse luck than Sean Stasiak?
I liked it when Sean
Who gets
Stasiak,
that, by the way, in this atmosphere?
I liked it when Sean Stasiak was neat, and then he was owned by PMS, Pretty Mean Sisters.
We're going to take a time out when we come back. The final stretch here of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead. And good old JR's Boomer Sooner.
The best
playing
part,
in the background.
The best part is
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
I have a lot of free time.
PN. And we've got just the final stretch of the show here. I
Nelson
lost my notes for a minute there. I have what we already covered, not what we were going to cover. And what we're going to cover is TNA Impact from this past Thursday night. Hernandez cashes in, the Feast are fired, and gets screwed out of anything. The match is called. It's a DQ because the main event Mafia interferes.
Well,
we see the return of Bubba Ray Dudley.
Brother Ray.
That's the question. If all of this was done and will be left at where it is, what the heck is the value of the Feast or Fired? If this was done to set up the angle with Sting and Hernandez, then that's fine. I can wait till Against All Odds on February 8th for that. But I hope they didn't crap this away with this opening. It was a great match, by the way, opening match on Impact last week. I was surprised we were going to get it because I don't read spoilers unless I have to. But there's got to be more to it. Hernandez, it can't be one and done.
It can't be. And you know what? Brother Ray may be the kind of person that may not want to do a mohawk when the top portion of the mohawk is missing hair.
Maybe you need some of that Ronco spray.
Possibly. Or, Ron Valboski spray.
This Thursday on Impact, it's AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle in a ladder match.
Say again.
Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles in a ladder match this Thursday night on TNA Impact.
Worth watching.
What's also worth doing is entering the PWR Fantasy League. That is available now at pwrshow.com. It starts with this weekend's Royal Rumble. Season goes through the Great American Bash in July. There's still time to sign up now. Lots of people have done so already and be a part of the first season of PWR Fantasy. Also, you can get all the highlights and interviews and even maybe some lowlights of the Pro Wrestling Report in 2008 with all the interviews, including Christy Hemme, including Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, all available on the PWR 2008 DVD. Also exclusive, never-before-seen studio footage. If you want to see what happens when we're not rolling the camera or TV,
I think
then
I
you
need
certainly
to see
want
that
to
too.
tune into this. That's available at pwrshow.com. If if you are a member of PWR Mobile, you do get a special discount on that. And GLCW's Blizzard Brawl DVD is available now at BlizzardBrawl.com.
The envelope's in the mailbox.
You can get Blizzard Brawl 3, Blizzard Brawl 4, and the March 8th event from GLCW, all for just $25 at BlizzardBrawl.com. And remember, the next event is March 21st, where NWO takes on DX. Ring of Honor Meathead returns to Chicago Ridge next Saturday night for another big pay-per-view taping. Jerry Lynn returns to the ring at that event. We'll be giving you much more from Ring of Honor and their big event coming up on Saturday the 31st next week right here on PWR Radio on ESPN, on 540 ESPN rather. We'll have a brand new episode of PWR TV next week. And make sure you check out the 10 Best, which is still airing on PWRshow.com. And next week, Meathead, right here on the radio show, we're going to have a full review of the WWE Royal Rumble. Did Orton really win it, as most everybody has predicted? And what happened? Did we see Christian Cage? So much going into this Sunday's Royal Rumble. Anything could happen. And that's all we have for this week, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you so much for tuning in. For the man they call Meathead, for the Kaz, and everybody here at 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com, this is Damian Nelson signing off for the Pro Wrestling Report.